the motion be agreed to. I call the member for Dunkley.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'm pleased to support this motion, which covers one of the most vital safety nets we have in this country in our social services. And one of the things that really sets Australia apart from so many countries around the world is the fact that we do not leave the most vulnerable people in our community to languish on their own. It's the fact that as a community and as governments, we understand an obligation to people who are in a time of need or suffering from some affliction that means that they can't work or they can't access support through family or friends, can turn to their government for help. And of course we're in modern times now, and that help can be accessed in many ways, and there's no doubt that online services have made life so much easier for so many people across the community. But we know that it doesn't work for everyone, and it doesn't work all the time. To tell someone to get online and get to a MyGov account and somehow work out how to access their disability support pension or their age pension or their single parent pension, not the least because of the, let's just say, difficult track record that this government has had with rolling out IT. But it's also because for some people, they don't have enough money to have an iPhone with a data plan that allows them to be on the internet all the time. They live in an area that the NBN botched rollout means that they don't have access to the data that they need. They can't afford a computer, or perhaps they're of an age or a literary standard or a background which means that they just don't know how to use that technology. And for many people, they need the face-to-face services that come and have traditionally come with Centrelink offices and Services Australia. The Centrelink office in Frankston has social workers who are there to help people with complex needs, not just to work out what payment they may be entitled to, but to work out what are the hurdles in their lives that are stopping them from taking the next step forward. That's an essential service that perhaps can be done on the phone, and during COVID has been done on the phone more than ever, but often requires that real relationship and face-to-face contact. In the name of cost cutting, however, this Morrison government has taken the approach to Centrelink offices and Services Australia, which isn't one where online complements that face-to-face service that so many needs, but is looking to replace it. Just outside my electorate in Mornington, which used to be part of Dunkley but is now part of the electorate of Flinders, is a Medicare and Centrelink office. It's used by people in my electorate, predominantly pensioners from Mount Eliza and some from Frankston South, and used by people in the Mornington area. Some 800 people visited Mornington Services Centre every week before the pandemic. Some 800 people. And yet, at the very start of this pandemic, this Morrison government, in the dead of night, made a decision without any consultation with anyone. It would seem, without consultation with the member for Flinders, who's the Minister for Health, to shut down that office, and it was to go on the 23rd of March of 2020. It took an amazing community campaign. It took locals from Mount Eliza, from Mornington, from the Mornington Support Information Service, the council. I got on board the campaign. It took petitions, it took interviews with the media, it took inquiries to the government to say, what are you doing, for us to even get a reprieve for that centre for 6 months. And it was only in September of this year that finally we've heard that the Mornington Centre will stay open, at least until March of 2021. But given the effort and the blowback from the community, we're confident we can keep that pressure on. Now, I was proud and pleased to be part of that campaign for the people in my electorate in Mount Eliza and Frankston South that used Mornington Centrelink, for the people not in my electorate that needed to use that Centrelink service, and for the people in my electorate that used Frankston Centrelink, which would have been even more overwhelmed. This government is letting down people in their time of need, and it has to stop. The global pandemic isn't over, and the needs of our people for social services aren't over.
There